Hello. Woo, smack. Welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. I hope that you are all doing well today. I thought that we could look into triangle pose today, or Trikonasana. It's a really cool pose in yoga, and sometimes you can play with it in terms of hip placement or hand placement or how deep or how shallow you make these angles. It's called Trikonasana because your legs make a triangle, but also the front leg and the upper body, right? Sort of make a triangle with the arm. So a few different triangles that we make. Triangles, as we know, are very strong uh, figures or shapes when you're building. So it's a pretty strong pose. It takes a lot of work, but you can also hopefully find some ease into it. So let's start seated. If you have a block, could be useful. You could use a tin, you could use like a Tupperware container or something like that. If you don't have one, no big deal. Again, it's just a tool. You don't have to. Okay, now find your tall seat. You can be cross-legged or on your shins or legs outstretched, whatever works for you. And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh. That breath away. A couple more, just like that. Continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. Notice how your breath is flowing. If it feels really open and spacious, great. If you notice some sticky or choppy spots along the way, great. But maybe you want to lengthen through those parts of the breath just to smooth it out a little bit more. And then bring more attention to your spine. It doesn't have to be rigid. And I was about to say it doesn't have to be straight. It won't be straight unless you're doing weird sort of curvatures with your spine. But the line, like the plumb line, is straight from the crown of the head to in between your sit bones. Right? The spine has natural curvatures forward and back for some people, even side to side. But the torso is long. And that becomes a very important thing in triangle pose. Last few breaths here. And then at the end of your next exhale, gently flicker your eyelids open, shake it out a little bit, and then make your way to hands and knees. So eventually setting up with your knees underneath your hips, toes can be tucked or untucked, hands outer shoulder width apart or wider, and let's start to bring a little bit of movement through the torso, through cat and cow. So inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, wrap the shoulder blades toward each other, broaden through the collarbones, and then exhale, round in the opposite direction. Tuck the tailbone under, really press the floor away. Inhale, slowly ripple into cow. Exhale, round into cat. So a few more of these undulations on your own time, on your own breath. And if there's any other movement here that would feel really good, then feel free to move how you need to move. On your next exhale, lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. And you can pedal the heels toward the floor. Maybe wag your tail from side to side. Making sure that the weight is more into the front part of the hand and not in the heels of the hands. Hug the upper arm bones toward each other a little bit. And think of reaching your sit bones to the top of the back wall. Bend your knees, look forward. Take as many steps as you need to come into standing forward fold. Head heavy, neck long. Any variation that feels good for you here. I like clasping opposite elbows with hands, just for more traction on the spine. Knees micro bent or even deeply bent. And then release your hands with fingertips to your shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Find length through the spine. Exhale, let it all go. 2 more. Bend your knees, tuck your chin in toward your chest. Head heavy, arms heavy. Slowly start to roll up to standing. 1 vertebra at a time. If you need more support, you can bring your hands to your thighs. And eventually, the knees straighten and the crown of the head lifts. Couple loops of your shoulders, up, back, and down. Little wiggle, little shake. And then feel a hug of the legs toward each other, tailbone to the earth slightly. Little draw of belly button to spine without flexing, right? Without giving me your Hulk impersonation. Shoulder blades on the back. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe follow with your gaze. Exhale, melt down to the earth, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands so they come flat, and then step back to plank. Top of a push-up, either from your toes or from your knees. A few breaths here. Squeeze your bum, squeeze the tops of the thighs. Press the floor away from you, and then lift your lower ribs up to the sky. So that's a slight hollow body position. And then look to the top edge of your mat. You can always come to your knees first. Exhale, lower all the way down to the earth. Little wiggle of the hips from side to side. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Inhale, lift the heart forward to come up. Exhale, lower back down. So a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath. I'm lifting with my chin, so I'm going to remind myself to keep the back of the neck long, looking down rather than forward. Plant your hands, tuck your toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of the mat. Inhale, lift up partway. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Inhale, hop, step, or float back to plank. Exhale, lower all the way or partway to the floor. Inhale through baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg high, 3-legged dog. As you exhale, bring your knee to your shoulders over wrists, hips high. Inhale, back up. Exhale, right knee to right armpit or elbow, hips high. Inhale, back up. Exhale, draw the knee across to the left side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee comes to nose. And then pause here. Really press the floor away with those hands. And then exhale, step your right foot to your thumb. Back knee can be up or down. And as you inhale, come up to low lunge. So you can always shake it out. Go off alignment. Release whatever you need to release. but then start to settle. I would rather see you pull out of a deep lunge and have activations of the glute and hugging the legs toward each other than just hanging out in your joints. But go wherever you want to go, because I can't see you. Maybe then you inhale the arms high. Grab hold of the sky with the right hand as you exhale. Bring your left hands to the earth or to a block. And then nice twist to that front knee. Make sure that front or bottom shoulder isn't jutting forward. You really want to wrap it onto your back. And then think of spiraling the upper right ribs open to the sky. And this action of that opening will be really important. In triangle, squeeze the bum a little bit more on the back leg. Maybe you draw some circles or shapes with that top arm. Last breath here. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, flow, or downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your left leg high, three-legged dog. Couple of breaths here, really squaring the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, back up. Exhale, left knee to left armpit or elbow. Inhale, back up. Exhale, draw the knee across to the right hand side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to nose. And then pause here for a couple breaths. As you exhale, step your left foot to your thumb, back knee up or down. Oh, that was a fail, if I've ever felt one. And then inhale, come up for low lunge, right? Maybe you're just into it right away and you don't have anything you need to fix or change. Ground the front heel a little bit more. Squeeze the bum on the back leg. Grab hold of the sky with your left hand. Exhale. Sweep the right hand to the earth. Wrap your shoulders onto your back. Spiral those upper left ribs open to the sky. Squeeze the bum on the back leg. Maybe you draw circles. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, flow, or downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg high, three-legged dog. As you exhale, step the foot halfway up your mat. And then bring your left hand forward and up slightly. You're going to start to roll to the outside edge of that left foot. Spin all 10 toes to the right. And then open that right arm up into a side plank or a modified side plank. With that top knee bent, you can really start to press into the floor to lift your hips. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back. Exhale, step the right foot between your hands. Pause here. Wrap your back heel to the floor for warrior two. So heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Hug the legs toward each other. And then inhale, come up for warrior two. Shake out the arms if you need to. Hug your legs toward each other like crazy, right? As if you're in mud. You don't want to go kersplat. And then find a bit of ease through the upper body. Make sure you can see your knee inside that, or sorry, see your big toe inside the front knee so it's not caving in. And then on your inhale, gently straighten the front leg. Heel into the back foot in a little bit, particularly if you're used to working triangle with a really long base of support. Try and shorten it a little bit today. Heel to heel alignment is going to give you a little bit more space for the hips. So hug the legs toward each other without locking them out. Belly bend to spine, and then imagine someone's got a rope on the top of your hip and starts pulling it back. So the hips shift back, and immediately, as soon as you do that, the upper body wants to counterbalance. It starts reaching forward. We're going to hover it in triangle here. Now I have reached the point where my front femur is banging onto the hip socket. So if I wanted to go further, I would want to pull that front hip back and down under slightly and see how much more range of movement I have. But I'm hovering it out, so it doesn't matter quite so much, aside from you don't want to cause impingement of that joint. So scoop that front hip back and under slightly, and then hover. Last couple of breaths, you can take weight off, or you can add weight to it, making it quite a bit more challenging. Keep spiraling those upper left ribs open to the sky, though. And last breath. Inhale, back up. Whoo! Exhale, windmill the hands to the earth. Step back, flow, or downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step the left foot halfway up the mat. Plant the foot, spin all 10 toes to point to the left. Right hand comes forward and up slightly. And start to roll to the outer edge of the right foot. So modified side plank. Use that front leg to really press into the floor to lift the hips up. Exhale, plant your hands. Inhale, sweep that left leg up and back. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Wrap the back heel for warrior two. And then inhale, come on up. So find your stance, right? Shake it out, reset if you have to. And then keep hugging the legs toward each other. A little draw of belly button to spine. Bit of ease to the upper body. Keep tracking that front knee out to the baby toe edge of the foot. Inhale, straighten the front leg without locking it out, right? Heel into the back foot, up. Now feel that hug of the legs toward each other again. Belly button to spine. Again, someone's pulling on that top hip, so the hips shift back. And again, right away, that upper body wants to come forward as you do that. Right? So now you get to see triangle from the back. Hug the legs toward each other. Scoop that front hip back and under slightly. And keep hovering it out. Keep hugging the legs toward each other. Little micro bend on the knee. Maybe you add more weight to your triangle. Keep breathing. Inhale up. Exhale, windmill your hands to the earth. Step back, flow, or downward facing dog. Okay. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Wrap your back foot as if for warrior two. Pause here. Grab a block if you have it. Bring it on the inside of that front foot. Right hand comes to the block on whatever height you want to use it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. And then start to spiral those upper left ribs open to the sky. That action will then also open the hips. So side angle pose. You might stay here. Maybe you feel like resting your front elbow on your thigh. Maybe you feel like hovering it out. Again, less weight or more weight. And then inhale, come all the way up. Shake it out a little bit. Gently straighten the front leg. Heel into the back foot forward or in a little bit. Hug the legs toward each other. Shift the hips back. Reach the upper body forward. This time we're going to fold a little bit more deeply in triangle. So definitely scoop that front hip back and under slightly to find more space. Now you don't want to collapse your torso. That's why we did the hovering version, right? You want triangles as far as you can find. So maybe that hand comes to the calf. Maybe it finds a block. Some of you I know are going to feel really comfortable bringing the hand all the way down, in which case you'll probably need a wider stance or a longer stance Top arm maybe reaches up to the sky. Your gaze can go anywhere. If it feels gnarly on your neck to look up, then don't do it. And then start to lean your upper back into an imaginary wall behind you. Spiral the upper left ribs open to the sky. One more breath here. And then grab hold of an imaginary rope with that top hand. Lift yourself back up. Exhale, windmill the hands to the earth. Step back, flow, or downward facing dog. Okay, last round. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Wrap the back foot as if for warrior two. Heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. If you have a block, bring it inside the front foot. And then start to think of spiraling those upper right ribs open to the sky so that you open up into side angle pose. The hips want to lift here, so can you sink them just a little bit? Top arm can go wherever. Maybe you choose to bring the elbow to the knee. Maybe you choose to hover it out. Last couple breaths. And then inhale all the way up. Gently straighten the front leg. Shake it out a little bit. Heel into that back foot. Forward slightly. Hug your legs toward each other. Shift the hips back. Upper body reaches forward. Scoop that front hip back and under. There we go. More space. Maybe the hand comes to the calf or the shin or a block. Keep spiraling. Those upper right ribs open to the sky. If by using a block, you're kind of just losing activation, then try not to use it. Right? Keeping both sides of the body long. Grab hold of that rope in the sky. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, windmill the hands to the earth. Step back, one last flow. And then gently release your knees to the earth. Take the mat width apart, toes behind you. Sit down into child's pose. And then slowly inhale, come forward onto your belly. And then right away we're going to roll over onto our backs. Bend the knees, feet parallel, close enough into the bum that your heels are within reach of your fingertips. Press your feet into the floor slowly. Peel the pelvis and the spine up and away. Couple breaths in bridge just to help reset the pelvis. It was a lot of single leg work that we were doing, which can kind of throw things out of alignment. And then exhale, release your hips down. Hug your knees in toward your chest. Little rock from side to side. Bring your right arm out to the side. Maybe you shift your hips right to start with. Exhale, lower your knees to the left for a nice twist. Knees can be stacked. You could take a single leg twist or maybe legs crossed. Generally, the closer the knees are toward your shoulder, the deeper the twist will feel. The further away they are, the more open it will feel. Last breath here. And then inhale. Slowly come back to center. Reset your spine or your pelvis. Maybe you shift the hips left a little bit. Left arm goes out to the side. Exhale. Your legs to the right. Again, as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need. It never needs to be the same variation from one side to the other, even with twists. Breath slow and sweet. And then inhale, slowly come back to center. If there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, maybe some sort of spinal flexion or happy baby, please take what you need to take. When you're ready for your rest, think about where you'd like to go. Maybe it's flat on your back, knees wide, feet together in a supine butterfly. Maybe your legs are just extended. You're in a starfish or a corpse pose. You could rest on your side in child's pose, seated meditation, wherever you can find ease today. And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh. And breath in. 2 more. With each exhale, imagine your body melting a little bit deeper into the earth. Let go of any remaining breath control, muscle gripping or tension. And stay here longer. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you can. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.